Namaskar. I welcome you to this OUSRHH series of lectures, and today my topic is Trudeau the terrorist. Yes, Trudeau the terrorist Prime Minister of Canada. Some of you are surprised that why Trudeau made such baseless accusations against India. One laughed also that he even doesn't know the basic English language, because there are always creditable evidences. But there is nothing like credible allegations, and still he went ahead. So what I did was, I went back into the history and started looking. What has Canada's attitude been towards India, towards my Bharat, right from the days of the freedom struggle? And it was astonishing to find that in 1913, Bhag Singh and Hussain Rahim, two Indian revolutionaries, had formed the Ghadar Party at Vancouver in Canada. And what the Canadian government did at that time? They encouraged forming of a gang under one Bela Singh. And this Bela Singh gang murdered revolutionary Bhag Singh. This Bela Singh gang would inform the Canadian government on the meetings of the Ghadar Party. Not only that, they sabotaged the landing from Komagata Maru ship, in which many Ghadar Party workers were there in Canada. And you know the whole story that that ship then went all over the world, then landed at Calcutta, and many of the Ghadarites were shot also in Calcutta, where it had landed over there, near Calcutta over there. Then, once the Ghadar Party people sent arms by ship to India, to Bharat for their Ghadar revolutionaries in India, because a Ghadar armed revolution was being planned in India during that period by using the Indians in the British Indian Army only. You must remember the Raj Bihari Bose case and all that at that time. Later on it came to be known as the Lahore conspiracy case. Now what this Bela Singh did, he put one of his informers among that group. And that informer informed the Canadian government, which informed the British government, and that arms and ships were caught over there. Not only this, his gang members also testified against Kartar Singh Saraba and Surlal Pathak, the two great Ghadar revolutionaries. And he got rewards from this fellow Bela Singh got rewards from the Canadian and British government. It was only in 1923 that the Babbar Akali revolutionaries took revenge and murdered him. Now, this is history. I don't want to go in between, and I'm jumping onto the modern period. When the Khalistan demand came and action was taken against Khalistanis in India, Canada became the safe home of Khalistani terrorists. I hope you have not forgotten the mid-air blasting of Air India's Kanishka aeroplane in 1985, in which about 268 Canadian citizens also died. The total number was more than 350. And today Trudeau says, I have to protect Canadian lives. Which Canadian life? That of a terrorist, that Ninjar. And at that time, when 268 Canadians died in that plane crash, his father was the Prime Minister of Canada. What did they do? Having provided all evidences to Canada, Today we are in 2023. those Canadian lives were not important for Trudeau. Mumbai terrorist attack. 2 Canadians died. 2 Canadians were injured. It has no value for Trudeau. And what is happening there? Another very interesting thing happened in 2017. But before that, I must also remind you this, that when during Mrs. Gandhi's time, India had done its nuclear explosion for peaceful purposes, it was again the Canadian Prime Minister who had shouted the most in the world against India. Now in 2017, the present government of Bharat, they put high tariffs on export of pulses and wheat from Canada. Pulses particularly, sorry, not wheat. Now, this was done to protect the Indian farmers who are growing pulses. And this made the farmers of Canada cry. Many of them supporting Khalistan movement over there. And then we saw that during the Kisan movement, so-called Kisan farmers movement, how these Khalistanis, backed by Canada, were there, and Trudeau was shouting there in Canada in their support. There is another very interesting thing in this, that ISI made its base in Canada. Karima Baloch, she was also Canadian citizen. She was murdered by ISI there. On that, Trudeau had nothing to say and became a pawn in the hands of ISI. In 2004 itself, Stephen Bell, a Canadian, had published a book, Cold Terrorism. And at that time, in that book, this Canadian citizen himself said that Canada has become the hub of terrorism, a very safe haven for terrorists from world over. Can you believe a country which boasts of democracy shelters even those terrorists for whom the Interpol has put up a lookout after declaring them international terrorists? They roam freely in Canada, and the other country they roam freely is the rogue state of Pakistan. I think both these countries, Pakistan and Canada, are now vying with each other to manufacture terrorists, to shelter terrorists, to finance terrorists, and to export terrorists to other parts of the world. This is what he has been doing. And this is what prompted him, besides his other reasons, that is political power he wants to maintain. And the lust for power is so much, that he has tied hand with that party, which is a terrorist party of so-called Khalistani terrorists. Give me a basic fundamental question. If these Canada people who demand Khalistanis are citizens of Canada, can the citizens of a country demand another country? And then if they have to demand, why? You go to Pakistan, ask them, give us Lahore as the capital of Khalistan. That used to be the capital of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Make Lahore the capital. They can't stop rape of Sikh women, Sikh girls in Pakistan. They can't stop attacks on Sikh Granthis in Pakistan. And still they act like stooges of ISI, hand in gloves with Trudeau. The question is of money. Big money ISI has been spending there. And a very interesting thing happened. In a TV debate, in a general way I was talking, and when I said, Mr. Trudeau, what do you think you are military-wise also? We have our submarines today. We have the capability to nuke also. Oh, the way the Pakistanis shouted, crying over it. The Pakistan TV puts my statements, those clips on its official channel. I love that when these fanatics, they feel afraid from a mere statement given by kafir. I am a kafir for them, na? By a kafir. A mere statement by a non-government kafir has put chilies into them, has shaken them. And they're doing it. And now again, you can see the mentality there. 2 days back, he honored a Nazi who was part of the Holocaust against the Jews. So now Israel is attacking him. Now Russia is attacking him. Then he says, this thing came out, 5 eyes. You know, Trudeau acted on the information from 5 eyes. What is the damn 5 eyes? A propaganda machine? These 5 eyes only claimed at that time of the Iraq war that Saddam Hussein has biochemical weapons, he has atom bombs. Where are they? Could they find one in Iraq? This is a way to dominate. And lastly, I'll say one thing. You see, a country which has a heritage, has some values. A country which has some history, has some values. What is Canada? It was colonized by all the looters and criminals of Europe who went over there, shot the local people over there and established their kingdom based on money. So for them, what matters is money. And today, it stands thoroughly exposed before the world. It is for the world to know. And Mr. Trudeau, this is not the India of the past. This is now Bharat today. And this is a Bharat which is a government which has hit you back in your own turn. What was your plane doing in Delhi for 3 days? What did the sniffer's dog found? Why did they went near the plane? Had you come here to distribute drugs to get money for the Khalistani terrorists? And you couldn't do that. You shouted a lot before the G20 conference. Zelensky is not being invited. Ukraine is not being invited. I will raise the issue in G20. Could you raise it? Damn coward you are. Trying to threaten Bharat of today. Remain in your pens, Mr. Trudeau, or else you will face the music internationally. Jai Hind.